of the soles of the feet in the floor and the weight of your sits bones in your chair and your hands in your lap and your shoulders over your hips. And imagine also your ears over your shoulders and your ribs over your hips. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine, putting some space in between those vertebrae. And then when you get to the crown of the head, just release any tension. So just notice what happens when you kind of let go of the tension in your head, in your scalp. Notice what happens in your face, your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, the jaw, the back of the tongue, the ears, the back of the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades just to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and your limbs. But just be aware of the sensations of your breath as you inhale and exhale. It's always a good one to remember when you're just doing, not just, but when you're meditating without any, when we're doing a practice here. It's also a meditation, but when you're just sitting meditating, the breath is an excellent way to anchor the mind. Be aware of any sounds in your environment. So just allowing those sounds to be there, trying not to follow them with the mind. Noticing when you do get distracted, and then just very gently bring yourself back. And then be aware of thoughts that are arising in the mind. Some space in between the thoughts. See if you can slow it down, catch it, and look at it objectively. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers. Ones you don't like, and imagine these relationships can be interchangeable. And they're all equal, these people, in these three different ways. They want to be happy, they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think they're, we'll do this practice for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything that you've done to harm others with your body and your speech. So you might want to think of specific actions that have harmed others. And then the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then you think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So then we come to this power of reliance, and it has two sections. One is refuge, and the other is developing compassion. So the first, refuge. So we rely upon Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, and we see his methods as medicine. So his methods are this practice we're doing now, which we'll get to in a minute. So imagine this beautiful Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. So the image we have in front of us is quite detailed. So if that's all too much for your mind, you imagine this beautiful, blissful, radiant white body. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So, Vajrasattva is looking at you with compassion and kindness and welcoming you and delighted to see you. And then he's sitting kind of cross-legged, and he's got the left hand closest to the heart, holding a bell, and the right hand is holding a vajra. And this, represents indestructibility ability of compassion, and the bell represents wisdom. So, and the two cross like that represents enlightenment. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginning's time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration, particularly for these people, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing this practice with visualization and mantra chanting. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina petita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Setta A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Setta A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Setta A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. The next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Setta A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Setta A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Setta A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dinapatita, Dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dinapatita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sefa a hom pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dinapatita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sefa a hom pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine, and this happens as instantly as when you walk into a dark room and flick on that switch. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and instantaneously all the darkness of the negativity of the mind completely disappears. All your depression and anxiety and anger and bitterness and grudges, all of this instantly gone. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dinapatita, Dida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dinapatita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dinapatita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dinapatita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dinapatita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dinapatita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dinapatita, Drida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta a hom pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And so you remember Vajrasattva sends nectar pouring down and, pushing out all the negativity of the body. And then the nectar flowing up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light coming and just kind of dissolving, blasting all of the delusions in the mind. And this is happening simultaneously, all at the same time. And in this way eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Triyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimbiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's really crucial. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And sort of kind of without making a decision like this, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff over and over again because we have these habits. So rejoice, first of all, in your efforts for coming along, doing this practice. And then think, perhaps there's something that you've been working on for a little while. Think of something you'd like to work on, continue to work on. I mean, sometimes, though, first we have to become aware of something that we're doing. So that could be another first step as well. And then just, time yourself, like set your phone or something, a timer, to remind yourself, a reminder, to remind yourself to sort of work on this thing for a few minutes every day. And then Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so here we are on chapter 2 of chanting the names of Manjushri. And so I shall, O Master of all secrets, reveal just that to you most splendidly. With single-minded focus, listen well. How excellent, responded Vajrapani. So truly excellent, O Blessed One. 3. The survey of the 6 families. And then the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, surveyed in full the family with great mantras, the family of the Vidyas and the mantras, the family that is threefold by its nature, the family of and yet beyond the world, the family great in brightening the world, the foremost family of Mahamudra, and so the family great with Ushnishas. Okay. So let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for a swift return of our precious Lamas at Rinpoche, and then for all of your own individual teachers. So I wish you a good night, everyone, and sleep well.